Cardiff is formed of many subcultures. Due to this, it is unavoidable for Cardiff to lose some focus of its Welsh identity. The main factor of this is due to having the globalisation of what it means to be a city, as Cardiff shares some characteristics that all cities in the UK possess. However, it is evident Cardiff is persistent in reviving the Welsh identity within its borders, with the use of signage, events and presence of Welsh symbols, making Cardiff's identity diverse and not singular to an individual trait. In short terms, does Cardiff have a Welsh identity? Yes. Is the Welsh identity the most dominant within Cardiff's image? No.
Defining a Welsh identity has an essence of complexity, as characteristics are illustrated as being a Welsh identity are continually strengthened by struggle against adversity, whether these are internal or imposed from the outside. The Welsh ethnicity identity has constantly been reinvented. The Welsh language is spoken not only from habit, but as a national symbol of independence from England, making this identity purposeful rather than for cultural respect. Since the end of the 1980s, there has been a shift away from previous narrow definitions of Welsh identity based on ethnic criteria of language and culture, which had maintained divisions within Welsh society to a new kind of collective identity. Place identity is a core concept in the field of environmental psychology, which proposes that identities form in relation to environments. A sense of place identity derives from the multiple ways in which places functions to provide a sense of belonging, construct meaning, foster attachments, and mediate change. In reflection, in Wales it is blatant that their Welsh identity manifests from landscape, myths, symbols, sports, and separating themselves from the rest of the UK.
It has been argued that the most important taint within the Welsh identity is that of its own language. This is because the language is the most prominent in distinguishing Wales from England. Furthermore, a lot of true Welsh identity links back to the heritage in which the language dominates poetic traditions and myths, in which are still widely popular today. The level of Welshness is often linked back to the ability to understand and speak the Celtic language, even though 80% of Welsh people are unable to speak it, but this small trait surely does not make them any less worthy of claiming Welsh identity than the 20% of the population that can.
There are over 400 castles, many of which are in ruins and date back to as early as the Middle Ages. Wales is said to have more castles than any European counterpart, making the little country more diverse and historically important. Many of these castles are open to the public domain as a tourist attraction, whilst others are used as private homes. Some of the castles even go as far to offer authentic medieval banquet evenings to showcase a diverse historic background.
A large percentage of Wales' identity is built upon the importance of the Industrial Revolution, with Cardiff and Barry being two of the largest exports of coal in the world. This revolution opened up Wales to new opportunities and links worldwide, having a huge influence on Cardiff's multicultural population, with different cultures implementing Welsh identity to a new genre and forming a new definition of what it means to be Welsh.
Myths and legends are deemed important for understanding the societies of the past and have transpired to the importance of understanding Welsh identity. Many of these legends are still taught in schools across Wales today, with many Welsh events dedicated to the celebration of the Welsh myths. With 2017 being the year of the legends, with Visit Wales dominating marketing with these influences. With leeks being a symbol for friends or foes, the red fire dragon dominating the Welsh flag, and daffodils symbolising the rebirth and new beginnings which are worn on St David's Day.
Wales is renowned for its wet weather and is usually one of the first characteristics that a tourist associates with a small country. Even though the entirety of the UK is renowned for rain, grey skies and downright miserable weather, it is estimated that 180 days out of the year is spent raining in Cardiff compared to the UK's average of 156 days of rainfall. For such a small difference comes a huge stereotype for most of Wales.
The Severn Bridge is the first Welsh landmark that anyone entering Wales will encounter, making this a huge association to the country and has become symbolic in separating Wales from the UK. Although the most impact the bridge has to tourists would come with the heavy price that comes from crossing it, leaving tourists with little spending money. The previous being said, Wales is currently in the process of decreasing the costs of using the bridges, which will hopefully influence more positive experiences from travelling from the UK to the scenic country of Wales.
Wales is heavily associated with farmers and their sheep, with there being more than 10 million sheep in Wales, and in 2011 sheep farming accounted for 80% of the horticulture in Wales. Although most tourists are unlikely to encounter any sheep when visiting the majority of tourist hotspots, this stereotype is a vivid image of Wales.
Wales has been fortunate to be the home of many celebrities and popular TV shows. This grants them many opportunities but also titles them with another unwelcome stereotype. Tom Jones's music will forever be a huge part of Wales, with many of his songs being sung from Welsh fans at sporting events, leaving many of the English associating his legacy to the country. Gavin and Stacey first aired 10 years ago, and although they highlighted the minority of Welsh personalities, it has formed a huge perspective of what it means to be Welsh. Although the show rarely airs on the TV in recent years, it still proves popular, with many people admiring Barry as a Welsh attraction. The Valleys provoke something entirely different to how the Welsh are usually perceived, with a strong Valley accent, sexual behaviour and binge drinking impacting how tourists see the Welsh nationality.
Wales is known for its popularity of sports, hosting many well-known sporting events, with the increasing rivalry between Wales and England, with many English-born people living in Wales converting to support their host team due to the patriotic attitude shown from locals.
Many English view Wales as having a nonsense language and expect a strong accent, unlike what they are used to, even though the Welsh accent varies depending on where you are, with the Cardiff and Swans accent differing even though it is in the short proximity of each other.
Cardiff is home of dozens of different landscapes, with the most eye-catching of them all being Cardiff Castle, which is directly in the heart of the city. It was built in the 11th century, and in 2017 the castle received more than 600,000 visitors, which is the highest number ever recorded for the quarter. Other hotspots included Millennium Stadium, the Hayes, Cardiff Town Hall and Museum, Cardiff Bay, St Fagans and the Norwegian Church Arts Centre.
Cardiff has the iconic City Tour bus which guides tourists around the hotspots of Cardiff and gives them the historic rundown of the sites. Although it is specific to Cardiff, all major UK cities will have these buses, making this just another city similarity.
Cardiff is the Welsh capital for shopping, with a combination of designer brands, high street names, as well as more individual and independent shops. Cardiff has been named the 6th best shopping destination in the UK, partly due to the whole spectrum of shopping, with charming Edwardian and Victorian arcades and ultra-modern shopping centres like St David's, which is known as the UK's newest, brightest and largest indoor mall. As well as shops, the centre offers well-known cuisine from around the world, including Nando's, Prezzo and Bella Italia. The ability to facilitate shopping culture into cities is a demand which can often heighten attention, but also allow for loss of local identity in the destination. Cardiff's hotels feature a mix of discount, budget, mid-range and exclusive accommodation, with the majority being chain and well-known providers.
Cardiff is home to an array of universities, including Cardiff, Cardiff Met and South Wales. These contribute to the vibrant nightlife that Cardiff is well known for, with the city hosting club events nightly to cater for students, making it the ideal place for tourists and locals alike without struggling for a place to go for a few beverages. This has impacted the city's Welsh identity, with many travelling to the area purely to experience the legendary nightlife, which has projected the image of drunks onto the capital.
Although Cardiff is known for being the capital of Wales, and therefore bears all the qualities it takes to be a city, Cardiff surpasses the stereotype of being a city and truly encompasses the culture of Wales into aspects most cities overlook.
The city has a reputation for being a cultural hub. There are a choice of museums, galleries, festivals and events that take place during the course of the year, ensuring visitors with an affinity for cultural attractions. Cardiff is well known for hosting an array of cultural events, which illustrates their past traditions and bring it to life in present day. Examples include the St David's Day Parade and the Roald Dahl Festival. Although it can be argued many of the cultural references in Cardiff are stage authenticity, it still allows for traditions to be continued and appreciated, which cannot be faulted even if the reasons behind it have motive.
Sports fans are also well catered for in the city. It is home to Cardiff City Football Club, the Cardiff Blues Rugby Union Club and the Glamorgan County Cricket Club. On match days you'll find locals dressed in traditional Welsh outfits, shouting chants and selling souvenirs to visitors.
The Welsh truly embodies the empowerment of being Welsh and are not shy when it comes to portraying their identity, with many homes in Wales displaying the Welsh flag proudly, with Cardiff city centre being home to many flags itself. Cardiff somewhat has a Welsh identity, with many hotspots linking back to identity with little Welsh quirks and alludes, creating a greater sense of place in an indirect manner.
So although Cardiff does not embody all Welsh elements, it is clear that there is some relevance to Welsh identity, and for that it should be noted that Cardiff has Welsh identity within the city, it is just a minority of its identity.